knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, sponsored by FidelityWealthManagement.com. Former Jamba Juice CEO James D. White has focused a lot of the last few years of his career on mentoring leaders. His latest book is on the importance of building a strong and lasting company culture. Talking to Bloomberg, White addressed the recent pushback on DEI.
Yes, I think the conversation has definitely changed, but I think the best leaders, at least the best leaders that I work with, they've got a true north. They're very focused on their values, and they know that if you put people first and you create an environment where all the humans get to do their best work, you're going to always win.
White's latest book is Culture Design, How to Build a High-Performing, Resilient Organization with Purpose. And he wrote it with his daughter, Krista White. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping. Like a heartbeat's call, he's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. For those of you that commemorate, that celebrate, and for those of you who might be keeping track, I guess today would be the fourth day I guess the 96th hour, if that math is correct, of Black History Month. We're doing some things here at 1017 The Truth to recognize and commemorate Black History Month. We're going to give you, information about little-known Black history figures, especially those that made and created something durable and long-lasting in Milwaukee, because the city of Milwaukee, where we are broadcasting from, has got a very long and deep Black historical tradition, culturally, academically, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to pay homage to those that came before us. Also, it is the 100th year of the recognition of a time in which we pay special attention to the contributions of African Americans. In February of 1926, Carter G. Woodson created or coined or curated, I suppose, the first Black History Week. And look at the progress we've made in 100 years. We've gained 3 more weeks. We've also included Valentine's Day and President's Day, and it's the shortest month of the year. But would everybody just relax? Just take your gains where you can get them, Blackies. You Blacks want so much, I swear. It oftentimes is a month for political theater because the Black vote is important, either to maximize it because that can help one political party do a little bit better, or to suppress it or minimize it, because the African American voter and who they vote for and the kinds of issues that they prioritize really takes away the momentum from the other political party, right? And so when we do not vote, it allows for what I believe is a shrinking Republican or conservative or Trump-leaning electorate to shine through. I don't know if we are really producing more Republican voters. I think the number is staying relatively flat, if not going down. But people that would otherwise vote to oppose whatever the current Republican agenda is strengthened when African Americans vote in smaller numbers. And it's a really weird kind of death loop, because I can tell Black people, and I do, to vote early and to vote often, and they will, maybe, in an election or two, because there'll be some things happening in our world, in our social world, in our political world, our financial world. When people are not doing well financially, they certainly run to the ballot box. But then after a couple of election cycles of people listening to me bloviate about how important it is to go and vote, they realize something. Something very tangible is what they realize. The lives haven't changed very much. In fact, in some cases, things may have gotten worse for them. So it's really hard to continue to make the case for African Americans to continue to vote. Now, it's also a matter of civic duty. And because we know that your life is not necessarily going to change, certainly not overnight, or maybe not even anytime soon, we have to throw in a bit of historical guilt. Historical guilt, it works. It does. I say, hey, Blacks, because that's how I talk to them. You got to talk to the Blacks rough. Not you, Andrew. Not you. You say, look here, Blacks. Dr. Martin Luther King got shot in the face. And other people, John Lewis got hit in the head with a brick. You better vote because history told you that they tried to suppress our votes, and now you got to go vote. That doesn't really... That wears off as well. Later on in the program, I'm going to give you some potential 2028 Democratic candidates, just so you guys can get used to the names, because you're going to hear them more frequently as we move toward 2028. And if you ask me, 2028 and Donald Trump's third term can't get here fast enough. So there's going to be some Democrats, of course, that are going to challenge him, going to challenge Donald Trump, or whoever the Republican nominee is going to be. What's crazy is it's not going to be J.D. Vance. And if it isn't, what the Democrats did in 2024, which, just so you know, I probably will litigate the 2024 presidential election forever, mostly because I feel some level of responsibility and guilt, even though I should not. I just pushed really hard for the Democrats and Kamala Harris in 2024, and it didn't really work out so good. And I was trying to figure out still what we did wrong, because as we move forward, whatever happened in 2024, including the people and the players, will not be welcome in American politics, I think, ever again. So for those of you that think Kamala Harris could be a Democratic nominee, absolutely not. There's no parallel universe nor planet where that is conceivable. But here's what I'm concerned about. So J.D. Vance is supposed to be the heir apparent. He's the vice president, and Donald Trump technically has termed out. Don't worry, I'm going to explain the title of the program, Black History Month, being canceled in just a second. It all ties together. Don't worry about it. You would think that J.D. Vance would be platformed a little bit more, that he would be ingratiating himself and vice versa to MAGA or whatever this next incarnation of MAGA is going to be. You would think that Donald Trump would be sending him places, because that's what you do with your vice president. You send them to different parts of the country to promote the agenda. You know, you could send J.D. Vance to the border, and J.D. Vance would give a speech saying, yay, the border is secure, no illegal people have crossed the border. Or maybe you send J.D. Vance to New York, to Wall Street, and he gives a speech there and says, yay, the American economy under the Donald Trump, J.D. Vance presidency is doing fantastic. Are you noticing that J.D. Vance is not even heard from on most days? There's something going on here. J.D. Vance needs to be platformed because he's going to be, we think, the heir apparent because he's the vice president, just like Kamala Harris was the heir apparent to Joe Biden. As I recall, and I have an odd memory for such things, because keeping in mind some issues that maybe you all maybe read a headline about, or maybe you saw it in your news feed and you just scrolled past some of those political headlines from last year or the year before. I dove deep into some of those political headlines that you all may have scrolled past, and I talked about them for 3 hours, so the likelihood that they stick in my memory is very, very high. There was a period of time, it might have been 2021 or 2022, where states were creating their own abortion bans. It was really, really bad. And these Republican states were just one after another. They were making it more difficult for women to get a whole host of reproductive health care services. And Joe Biden sent Kamala Harris to the border. That's when she gave her speech. You guys remember that speech? Don't come. Don't. You guys remember when Kamala Harris said that? And, of course, it became a social media sensation and all the memes started popping up. Joe Biden was not platforming Kamala Harris as the heir apparent, which ultimately she was. But look what it took for Joe Biden to drop out of the presidential race, because he really wasn't going anywhere. I think there's a similarity here. There's a similarity between Donald Trump not giving J.D. Vance more public speaking opportunities. And I mean, every now and again when stuff is like really super duper screwed up, then J.D. Vance will get a teleprompter in front of him and then he'll give a press conference. Like, you know, when ICE agents murder white people, then he's like, well, they were domestic terrorists. But J.D. Vance is not being positively platformed to be the heir apparent to follow up Donald Trump's presidency. Just like Joe Biden didn't necessarily platform Kamala Harris properly so that the nation could get used to her and her ideas and her policies and just accept the fact that she was likely going to be the next Democratic nominee. It took Joe Biden a moment of Alzheimer's on stage, and even then he didn't drop out right away. Oh, you all watched it. That was the moment that history changed. It's also evident that people are living longer and staying in office longer because nobody should be running the country at 80. Even if you're really sharp for 80, you should be golfing or doing other things, having sex. I don't know what you do at 80. I'm not 80 yet, and I hope to get there because I want to have sex when I'm 80. You guys remember that? Because I'm sure the day before or the day of that Joe Biden debate, I probably told all you guys to watch it because we were going to have a class discussion about it the next day. And then Joe got up there and there was some question about, I don't know, Medicare, Medicaid, and Joe Biden, and then we did it. We did, and whatever the hell he said. And so he eventually drops out of the race. And so I know I shame Bob a lot when he calls because, you know, it's easy and he deserves it. But Bob brings up a point that a lot of Democrats brought up. They should have had a primary. You should have opened it up when Joe Biden stepped down or announced he wasn't running again in the middle of the campaign, really in the 11th hour of the campaign. It should have been opened up to other Democrats. Now, because I am much more of an institutionalist, I don't think that you do that. I disagreed with that because Kamala Harris was vice president. She was supposed to be the next one in line, and maybe she was picked to be the next one in line. But I think Democratic insiders probably knew something that we didn't, including the Harris campaign. They fairly recently released, or Kamala authorized the release of information that said there was never a poll, because they do internal polls. Like Kamala Harris has her own, she would have her own pollster that goes out and gets data and statistics from voters and likely voters. They never had Kamala Harris in any of their internal polls. She was never beating Donald Trump. They were just hoping for like a really big surge on election day, which they did not get. Donald Trump is not going to endorse J.D. Vance to be the next president of the United States. Maybe because Donald Trump is holding out so that he can run for a third term, which remains to be seen. But I think that they will find another Republican. And you know what that means when we look back at 2024? Because Trump is I think he's going to do that. He's going to find another Republican that he likes more, that is more loyal, that has done more for him than J.D. Vance did. Because J.D. Vance's loyalty to Trump is recent. Going back to 2015 and 2016, J.D. Vance said such horrible stuff about Trump, J.D. Vance sounded like a liberal. If Trump skips over his current vice president and endorses somebody else as the Republican nominee in 2028, people are going to wonder why Joe Biden didn't do the same thing. Because I don't think that Donald Trump believes J.D. Vance can win. Joe Biden knew that Kamala Harris couldn't win. And if she couldn't win in 2024, she really ain't going to be able to win in 2028. She's almost doing like a Mandela Barnes campaign. Like you had your shot. Like Mandela had his shot to beat Ron Johnson and didn't. And now Mandela is coming back to run for governor after he blew his shot in 2022, and he believes that people are going to elect him in 2026 if Kamala Harris blew her shot to stop the nation from delving into fascism, because that is exactly what's going on right now. Then no one is going to elect her and support her and give her $1 billion in campaign contributions in 2028. Do have a story here. The Democrats are starting to dig in their heels and really dive into the sentiments of voters because they don't want to make the same mistakes of the past. There's an article that appears in Politico, which I'm going to discuss at some point if I don't run out of my 3 hours. Is the Kennedy Center canceling Black History Month? Yes. Since 1980, the Kennedy Center has been, for arts, performing arts in Washington, D.C. You guys know the Kennedy Center, which has been renamed the Trump Kennedy Center. They have canceled all Black History Month events, and for the artists that were scheduled to perform, all of them have decided to back out. And then ultimately, I come to find out just this morning that they are closing the Kennedy Center permanently, but not before they cancel the commemoration of Black History Month at that famed venue for arts and culture. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back, and we're going to chat. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, exclusively on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. On Wednesday night, the Milwaukee Panthers complete their homestand as they host the Detroit Mercy Titans at the UWM Panther Arena.
3 feet the block. Franklin, contact, yes! Score it and one. Back to the top, Dixon. Driving right, step back, wing, 3 on the way, and he hit it! Josh Dixon with a ceiling scraper.
Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 6:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 7 o'clock. This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update on the new 101.7 The Truth.
The Milwaukee Juneau Pioneers went on the road and absolutely steamrolled the Milwaukee Bradley Tech Trojans 96-58. Four-star junior forward Dooney Johnson led the charge, pouring in 35 points as Juneau continues to put the city and the state on notice. With that win, the Pioneers improved to 14-1 on the season and extend their winning streak to 13 straight games. Now over to the girls of the Gold Division as the Golda Meir Owls dominated this past Tuesday night on the road at Milwaukee School of Languages, cruising to a 60-23 victory. Senior Anaya Blackman caught fire, dropping 30 points and knocking down 8 3-pointers. She was joined by senior Amira Taylor, who delivered a monster performance as well with 21 points and 21 rebounds. The Owls improved to 11-7 overall and 11-1 in conference, now tied atop the Gold Division with the Milwaukee King Lady Generals. Those two will meet to close the season with the conference title on the line.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update. MPS proud and MPS strong. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
If you haven't done so already, go to youtube.com or open your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search 1017 The Truth, hit subscribe. And when you do, you'll be able to chat amongst our very colorful YouTube chat participants. And also you'll find our YouTube poll. You know, we do a poll every single day because I'm just curious. I have questions, you all have answers. We're going to talk about something I think is plaguing our developmental environment for our young people, because we are in charge of their education, and we also are in charge of putting together the policies and the budgets and the funding for their education so we can have a future workforce, right? Because I, of course, like many of you, want to have a very strong economy as I move deeper into my sunset years. And so we have the opportunity as the body politic to create an education and academic environment that allows our young people to flourish and be successful so we can have a booming economy in the future, so we get a whole bunch of tax revenue, blah, 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 whatever. But there's something that has reached a critical level or a crisis level. Which one is worse, critical or crisis? Well, it's both. Critical, you think, Andrew?
I think it's crisis level.
Crisis level, okay. We have a teacher shortage, and I was fascinated by the story that I saw yesterday. I didn't really get a chance to talk about it yesterday. That in the state of Arizona, their teacher shortage is so severe that 4,000 teachers quit this school year. So they started quitting in the summer. And through like November or December of 2025, the state of Arizona lost 4,000 teachers. And the state legislature in Arizona was like, we got to get these teachers back. So they put together a package of bills, the Arizona legislature, because there are some schools that have so few staff that they have to like close the schools because there's nobody there. Or they're using permanent substitute teachers, which you can't do technically. You can only do that for a certain amount of time because those substitute teachers don't have the same kind of training, right? So they're using these permanent substitute teachers in Arizona. So the Arizona legislature said, we're going to give teachers $10,000 if they agree to come back. The teachers said no, and the bill failed. We also have a teacher shortage that has reached crisis or critical, Andrew? Crisis. A teacher shortage here in Wisconsin that has reached crisis mode. And as I was digging into why so many it's not funny. I laugh at inappropriate times. One of the reasons, and there was a multitude of reasons why these teachers in Arizona quit. Burnout, that's, the workload was too much. They felt like they weren't being supported. Their administrations were not supporting the teachers and not giving them what they needed. But one of the main reasons was the behavior of the kids. So I wanted to look into that. How much does that affect? We know it affects teachers. but it's making them want to quit. So our teacher shortage in Wisconsin is particularly severe because it's young teachers. I could see if you're like 58 and you're like, I've had enough of these damn kids. I'm quitting. If you're 62, you've been in the classroom for 35, 40 years. No. Our teachers in Wisconsin are averaging something like 6 years, and they're quitting before they turn 40. So the majority of our teachers that are leaving their profession, and they never return, they are 40 years old and under. And so I looked at some statistics. These kids are awful. The increase, and wait till I get to this. This is going to blow your mind. And also, hopefully we do an about face as just like a city. I'm not even going to say a community because this is a whole city of Milwaukee, whole Wisconsin problem. I tracked the number of suspensions, expulsions, and discipline infractions from so barely any data in the 70s. Starting in the 1980s, they really started keeping track of student discipline. And then the 1990s, you see the appearance of the school resource officers because now you're seeing an increase in more fights and kids bringing guns to school and school shootings. And then it reaches a fever pitch in like the 2010s. And now we are in an era now in the 2020s where school discipline is becoming a major problem once again. It did fall for a little bit. I think it was because of COVID because there was no kids in school that needed to be disciplined. But that is a main reason why teachers are either quitting or people not wanting to become educators at all, and it's having a real serious impact. So the behavior of the kids cannot be overlooked. So we're going to talk about that as well. And also leading into the conversation I'm going to have tomorrow about education with our friends from City Forward Collective. I think this conversation on education and the behavior and the discipline, lack of discipline, that these children are receiving coming into school is having an impact on the profession of teaching. And if you guys want all the black kids to go into the trades, that's great, but it's not going to be any teachers. While museums and cultural institutions nationwide roll out programming to mark Black History Month, the Trump Kennedy Center's public calendar lists 0 events dedicated to the Black History observance following a wave of cancellations and artist departures tied to changes in leadership under the Trump administration. In previous years, the Kennedy Center regularly hosted Black History Month concerts, tributes, and performances honoring African American history and culture. In fact, the Kennedy Center has been featuring and platforming the contributions of Black art and Black culture since before Dr. King's birthday became a national holiday. And because the Kennedy Center did an excellent job of promoting and showcasing the diversity of Black art and Black culture, they say it led to the public support of a Dr. King holiday. For the first time in 46 years, since 1980, there are 0 observances of Black history at the Trump Kennedy Center. Some of this is at the behest of the president himself. And I'm not going to do the cliche thing and ask Black Trump supporters why they still support a president that did nothing to ensure that Black History Month is being observed. I am not going to do that because I simply don't care, because they don't care either. I am starting to believe. Took me a while, but now I believe it. I didn't want to believe it. Call me a hopeless optimist, a hopeless romantic. Maybe I'm just hopeless. I thought that there could be something that Donald John Trump could do or say that would be this ultimate line in the sand for Black Trump supporters, and there is nothing. Even Senator Ron Johnson, who is about as Trump-loving as I think anybody can get, he came out yesterday and said he opposes nationalizing elections. I can count on one hand minus 2 of my fingers and my thumb the times in which Ron Johnson has disagreed publicly with Donald Trump. So even someone like a sycophant, like the leader of the cult, if Donald Trump's supporters in Congress, in the Senate, and the House got like merit badges for their support, Ron Johnson would have like a sash. You know what I mean? He'd have the best. He'd have gold emblems and chevrons on his shoulder because he has just been the most supportive. But even he said the nationalizing of elections was a line in the sand for him. But I couldn't even find that line in the sand for an African-American Trump supporter. So quite honestly, I'm going to leave them alone. Them finding out that Donald Trump is not wanting to commemorate anything for Black History Month. He's basically, the Kennedy Center is essentially closing because nobody wants to perform there. Trump is saying publicly, oh, we're going to do a bunch of renovations. Shut up. No, you're not. It's closing because nobody wants to be there, especially when you do things like cancel Black History Month. But I'm not shocked. But I'm also not going to make Trump supporters, Black ones in particular, have to defend themselves because if they're not jumping ship after the Epstein files. Oh, correction from something I may have said earlier in the week. I made mention that Donald Trump's name was mentioned 1,000 times in the Epstein files. Let me clear that up. That was a mistake. That was incorrect. That was inaccurate. And I really want to be accurate with all of the information that I present. Even though information moves very quickly, what is true on one day may not be true a couple of days later. Donald Trump's name was not mentioned 1,000 times in the Epstein files. It was mentioned 1,800 times. So they found more mentions, so I was inaccurate with my very lowball number. If what was revealed in those files isn't enough, then there's nothing that I can say, no fact, no data, no statistics I can point to, no tanking of the economy, no reduced status and stature of America globally, no abuse of migrants and immigrants, no these no-knock warrants and shooting people who are at protests. There's nothing I think that will change people's minds about him. Nothing. So just know I wanted to clear up my inaccurate statement of the 1,000 times that Donald Trump was mentioned in the Epstein file. That actually is 1,800, so I was a bit inaccurate with that. But also, let me leave you with this before I take my scheduled pause for the cause. The only person who is serving time in prison due to what was revealed in those files is a woman. Isn't that crazy? Ghislaine Maxwell, a woman, is the only person who is currently in prison for having involvement with a decades-long child sex trafficking ring. Talk about extremes. So there's a woman in prison for what was in the Epstein files, and then someone who was mentioned 1,800 times is president. Ladies, I totally get it when you guys talk about disparities. Like, boom, there it is. A woman can be in prison, and then a man who's had just as much involvement can be president. So, yeah, it's not fair, ladies. It's not fair. But what are you going to do? You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
From my family and myself, I would like to say thank you to Gruber Law Offices for taking such good care of us.
I would say thank you because you were so human and so much of a friend during the whole process.
I'm super grateful for them representing me and doing all that they did for me.
I would just say thank you for making me feel better.
That's why I'm here, to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Truth Nation, it's time once again to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community at the second annual Truth Community Awards, happening Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. This award show will honor the unsung heroes who show up, give back, and make a positive impact in our community every single day. We are rolling out the red carpet and showing love to those who truly deserve it. Buy your tickets now by visiting 1017thetruthAwards.com. Tickets are just $20, which includes free food and exclusive Truth giveaways. Join the 1017 The Truth team for an unforgettable night of entertainment, inspiration, and community pride at the second annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 in Milwaukee. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousin Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down, when you're strange.
While museums and cultural institutions nationwide roll out programming to mark Black History Month, the Trump Kennedy Center's public calendar currently lists 0 events dedicated to the annual observance. In previous years, the Kennedy Center, back when it was just the Kennedy Center, regularly hosted Black History Month concerts, tributes, and performances honoring African American history and culture. That tradition now seems to have come to an end. Choirs and organizations that long anchored those events have moved their programming elsewhere after President Donald Trump reshaped the center's board of trustees in 2025. No comparable programming has been added to replace what left, reported the Washington Post. I don't think that we're shocked by that. Because maybe I'm just unhappy either way. So let's say Donald Trump made a big deal out of it. The blacks love me so much, I'm going to have so much black entertainment for Black History Month. Maybe we should rename it Donald Trump Black History because I love the blacks, and the blacks love me so much. They do. Who would perform at Donald Trump's request? What black artists? Let's say he decided, we're going to have Black History Month. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better than ever. You've never seen a Black History Month better than the one I'm going to put on at the Trump Kennedy Center. It's going to be better than Obama's. Obama was a terrible president. So it would be headlined by Nicki Minaj, right? She'd be there. What other black artists? Snoop. Oh, Snoop, he turned on us. He used to didn't like Trump, but then, I don't know, I think he got $1 million to perform at something. So Nicki Minaj would be there. I'd rather it be this way than for Donald Trump to platform black artists and purveyors of black culture at his request. Nicki Minaj, Snoop. Where's Kanye these days? Is Kanye still, where is he? Is he on the train? Is he off the train? He recently did an apology but I think he apologized to the Jewish people. Not everyone else. Just, okay. I guess that's a start. Apologize to them. No, not really, Andrew says. Who else would be there? I know you guys know. Who are some of the other black artists? I think that I have just kind of just shoved them to the recesses of my mind. Is T.I. a Trumper? He would seem like he would be a Trumper. Whoever those guys were from Detroit that were on stage with him when Trump did a rally in Michigan. So I'd almost rather there be none than to have a Nicki Minaj, Snoop Dogg, Kanye West exhibition at the Kennedy Center. However, if they weren't Trump supporters, that would be a hell of a show. That'd be real good. Snoop and Kanye and Nicki Minaj, even though I'm not really a Nicki Minaj fan, I think she makes music for women and girls with low credit scores and bad eating habits. Like, that's who I think, which is fine. I'm not saying anything negative about those people. It's just, that's not my demographic. Because music is so compartmentalized and so specialized. There's so many different, like, affinity groups and niches. And every kind of music does not have to be for every kind of person. I think that Nicki Minaj makes music for some white women that live the fantasy of thinking they could be a black woman. They want all the fun stuff about being black, not, the poor health outcomes, the low life expectancy, the low education outcomes, the poor reading scores. Like, people want the dancing part of black culture, because black culture is very dancey. Yes, I want a list. A list of what, Andrew? I love lists of things because I get to read them off.
I have a list of artists supporting Trump.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, all day.
Azealia Banks.
I don't know who that is. Azealia Banks? Is she
The Baby?
Oh, no. That'd be a great show, though. The Baby is a great rapper. Give me more.
Kodak Black?
Not surprised. He's talented, but inarticulate. Lil Pump is more. He doesn't make modern new music, does he? He's more of a throwback, perhaps.
MIA.
The lady?
Yeah.
Fly high like planes. Yeah. Oh my God! Well, she's a has-been too, though. She's not. Fly high like planes is not a song that's very popular anymore. I hope that's the end of your list.
We got one more. Waka Flocka.
I was just listening to Waka Flocka. I saw Waka Flocka at the rave. I think Zach went with me. We saw. Oh no. So I would rather there be no African-American performances at the Trump Kennedy Center. However, those artists would do a hell of a show if they were to perform. But I'm happy. This lady, she's not all the way black. She's black and something else. I think the other parts of hers would support Trump, not her black parts. She's not authentically black. All right, let me take a break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 101.7 The Truth proudly celebrates Black excellence and the most monumental moments in our history. Tune in for Dr. Ken's Trivia, spotlighting powerful facts and moments you need to know. And Tori Lowe's Our Voices, Our Stories, amplifying the youth, perspectives, and lived experiences that define who we are. Celebrating Black excellence, celebrating our history. All month long on 101.7 The Truth. This Friday night, we have a city conference showdown as the Milwaukee Juneau Pioneers battle the Carmen Northwest Eagles. Fast breaks, big shots, and bragging rights on the line. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. The City Conference Game of the Week on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com is sponsored by Milwaukee Public Schools and presented by Gruber Law Offices.
Life isn't a single moment. It's a shared ribbon that bends through the years. It binds us to the things and people we love most. One insurance company knows this because they live it. For 100 years, we've been with your family for the moments that matter most. Erie Insurance.
Find a local agent at erieinsurance.com.
Tired of managing your rental property? Or maybe you just don't know where to start? At Odom Investments and Property Management, our professional team handles everything from tenant placement to maintenance and rent collection, so you don't have to. Let us take the stress out of property management. Call 855-ODOM-WAY or 855-636-6929 and experience the Odom way today.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Jewelry store and tell them make me a grill.
Nelly also is a Donald Trump supporter. Someone texted in and told us, I really hate to admit it though, that a exhibition of black hip-hop artists that support Donald Trump, if they performed at the Trump Kennedy Center for Black History Month, it would be a hell of a show. You could feature these artists all month long and it would be fantastic, but it would also be very embarrassing. I wonder if people would actually go, if the people in Washington, D.C. would attend these black artists' performances and concerts. I think they would. I'd go see Snoop. I don't think I've ever seen Snoop perform live. And I would hate for the first and probably last time I ever see Snoop perform at the Donald Trump Kennedy Center. But I mean, you got to see Snoop whenever you can. All right, we have an issue here in Wisconsin. We have a teacher shortage. And I listen very closely when we all have conversations about the industries and the fields that we recommend and suggest for young people to get involved in. And I notice money is always at the top of the list. And that pains me a little bit because I'm sure some of you know and have experienced this before. You apply for a job, you get a job, however you obtain this employment, and the money is good, but you hate the job. You hate it. It doesn't utilize your skills. It's boring. It's not challenging. You don't feel like you're really creating or producing anything, like your talents are not being on display. But yeah, the money is good. Like, how long can you stay in a position like that? Now, it also depends on what kind of cloth you are cut from. There are some people that can sit for 30 years in a job that they hate and just get their paychecks. But you're not going to be a good employee. You're not going to push the envelope. You're not going to be thoughtful. You're not going to be creative. You're not going to get that company or your position to excel to higher heights. You're just going to sit there and collect your paychecks. And what fun is that? If you're going to spend a good portion of your years on earth working, why not do something that you love? But we are steadily pushing young people and suggesting that they go into jobs where the money is good. And here's something that I know about money, and maybe as you get older and mature, you may find out about money as well. It does not matter how much you make if you do not know what to do with the money you got. You know how many people I know that make deep into the six figures that live like check to check? Like a step away from being homeless because their spending habits are so ridiculous. All their bills could be paid. Money could be in the bank. They could be investing every single month, making dividends. Got a credit score of 390, making $190,000 a year. Insane to me. So we need to do more when it comes to financial education and financial literacy. The first year, if not year and a half, that we were broadcasting here on 101.7 The Truth, we had dedicated segments on my show and on Dr. Ken's show trying to teach our community and give our community different levels of understanding of what we call financial fluency, because we were not fluent in money. So if we are telling people, oh no, get this job or apply for this job because you're going to make a bunch of money, it's worse being broke when you make a lot of money. The biggest disappointments to me were always these celebrities, and more often than not, it's black ones, that went on tour and made $300 million this year and $400 million, and they all go bankrupt. Remember MC Hammer, the dancing fella who didn't want you to touch him? Remember him? Used to dance around in very large diaper pants. Didn't want to be touched, though. You couldn't lay a finger on him. He didn't want to be touched, and he got famous for not wanting to be touched. Filed for bankruptcy. There's a whole bunch of them that did. Also, I want more alternatives to be discussed than the trades. I got some professions that I want to start recommending because the trades are not for everybody. Let me tell you why, because the trades are too much math. Have you seen the math proficiency scores from young people graduating from MPS that are in 8th grade that are in high school when they take the standardized tests? I don't want somebody who's a carpenter working on a construction project for me or redoing my kitchen cabinetry and they have MPS math skills. My cabinets will fall down. My dishes will fall off of the shelves. And I don't want to hear dishes falling off of the shelves in the middle of the night because I hired a carpenter that doesn't know how to carpent. Carpenters work with wood. Plumbers work with pipe. So do plumbers plumb? Or do plumbers pipe? Guess that depends on the woman. Wisconsin faces a significant teacher shortage driven by low retention rates, with only about 55.6% of new teachers remaining in public schools after 7 school years. That is insane. So, okay, hold on. So basically half of the teachers are gone by the time they reach year 7. While education preparation programs are active, high turnover, particularly in special education, creates persistent staffing challenges. Key factors include burnout, challenging work environments, and financial pressure. And I noticed that they didn't include all schools. They say public schools. And we know the majority of students who are in public schools right now are children of color. They are brown children. But the majority of the teachers, the educators in public schools are still majority white. In fact, public educators are not only almost exclusively female, somewhere between 79 and 84%, they're also unionized. So this cohort of Caucasian women that are charged with instructing a generation of children of color are also unionized. And not that unions are bad, unions are great. Maybe one day I'll tell you guys the story about where rednecks actually come from. Rednecks are not racist bigots driving around in pickup trucks displaying Confederate flags. Rednecks are progressive, socialist, left-leaners that went to war with the federal government and coal mining companies for better working conditions. Rednecks got their names not because they're out in the sun and their necks are red, because they wore red bandanas to signify solidarity with one another. And guess what? Half of them were black. We'll talk about that another time. The amount of things that you all didn't learn in history is staggering. Rednecks, the real ones, are our allies. But the racists and the bigots and the troglodytes hijack the term redneck. So when I say redneck, you think some racist. Rednecks are socialists. They literally went to war with the federal government. Warren G. Harding had to send troops to kill them, and the ones that weren't killed were all prosecuted because they were fighting for better working conditions in the coal mines. Because back in those days in West Virginia, the coal mining corporations owned the land, they owned the mines, and they owned the housing. So coal miners didn't get paid in money. They got paid in this fake currency where they could only shop at stores, grocery stores, clothing stores that were owned by the coal mining company. They weren't even paid in real money, so they couldn't even spend that money anywhere else. And if they decided they wanted to go on strike for working conditions, the coal mining companies would foreclose on their houses and they would be homeless until they came back to work. So one day they got fed up. And they went and got their guns, and the federal government had to send troops. There was 10,000 of them. Now they got kind of wiped out. But if you go, because this is a socialist movement. The rednecks were socialists. Because if you go far enough to the left on the political spectrum, they have guns too because they are revolutionaries. See, I said I wasn't going to tell you guys about the rednecks, but now you know, because I can't have people running around not knowing the original history of a redneck. Wisconsin faces a significant teacher shortage driven by low retention rates, with only about 55.6% of new teachers remaining in public schools after 7 years, while educator preparation programs are active in Wisconsin. High turnover, particularly in special education, creates persistent staffing challenges. Key factors include burnout, challenging work environments, and financial pressure. I think we need more African Americans to go into the profession, and let me tell you why. I think you would see discipline problems go down. I think that you would see better relationships between the teachers, the administrators, and the students, and outcomes would improve. Just the appearance of a single African-American teacher, this is a staggering statistic, and it holds true through the decades. Just a black child having a single African-American teacher at some point, elementary school is more important, but at some point during their academic career, increases their graduation chances, with everything else being equal. Everything else being equal, the school being underfunded and being in a challenged neighborhood, the child is on free and reduced lunch, single parent home. So all of those factors remain intact. Just the appearance of a single black teacher increases that black child's likelihood of graduating from high school by 3%. Imagine if they had 2 black teachers, or 4, or 10, or if all of their teachers were at least reflective of the racial makeup of the student body. Because we know that children can learn better, and the teachers, the instructors, are much more credible when that child can look at that teacher, that instructor, and see a little bit of themselves or their mother or their father in the person that is telling them to read these books and take these tests and quizzes. So we're very quick to recommend the trades to African Americans who are looking for employment options. Maybe we need to start looking at telling them to be teachers as well. I'm going to take a break, come back, and dig in a little bit deeper to the education shortage in Wisconsin. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
This Black History Month, 1017 The Truth, opening up the mic to Milwaukee's youth, young boys and girls sharing what Black history means to them in their own words. I'll be reading and sharing your submissions with the 1017 The Truth audience all month long. Our voices, our stories. If you know a young person with something to say, share their message on social media, tag @ToryLow_King or 1017 The Truth. Let's amplify their stories together.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much stuff because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part, knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them, epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation, because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready to act.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Talking about this teacher shortage that we have here in Wisconsin. There really is a shortage of educators all over the country. And if we want to have a strong workforce in the future, I think it is very important for us to be able to recruit and retain good teachers, especially African-American teachers, because as time goes on, the public school attendees because there is not a school that I'm aware of, and I've been looking for one for 10 years, where the majority of the student body is white and the teachers are black. But you have a ton of schools, even public schools in challenged neighborhoods where those teachers would never even live. They wouldn't shop in those neighborhoods, yet they go there to work every single day and get their benefits and get their fat pensions in majority black student body schools, but the teachers are white. That's actually normal. And I've always had a problem with that. I've had a number of African-American teachers, probably more so in college than I did in middle school, high school, elementary school. But there was a special relationship that could be developed with an African-American teacher, especially as a black boy. Because those teachers can become like family. Because they also know what it's like to be in a world where you are absolutely a minority. But I'm not sure what we need to do to increase the desire, I suppose, for African Americans to see teaching as a viable profession. First and foremost, I think children need to have good experiences with teachers. And so I asked you guys via the YouTube poll, because, we ask you a question every single day. If you have been suspended, and I have not checked the numbers yet, and I'm almost scared to look, because I'm also going to give you some details as to why so many teachers are leaving the classroom. Here in Wisconsin, it is particularly bad. 60% of teachers leave by year 7. That's more than half do not stay for their 8th year. And they don't ever return to teaching. That's really, really, really bad. So we got to have some focus on this. I know there's been some state legislative actions to fast track teachers' licenses and to be more intentional in recruiting black and minority teachers. But if the desire is not there, I don't know if those legislative policy ideas are going to be any kind of a fix. Would love to hear from you. What do you guys think? What can we do to recruit and retain, because getting black teachers in the classroom is one thing. Getting them to stay past year 7, that's another. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I considered it. I did. I considered not teaching your kids. I'd headbutt your kids. You don't want me in the classroom with your kids. I'm being honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you now. Because if your kids came to Mr. Hughes' history class or a government class or a civic class, and if they talk to me like they talk to you, somebody leave it in the stretcher. It ain't going to be me. Sherwin, you can't do that. I'll kick a kid's ass in a second. Some of these 16-year-olds are bigger than me. What I'm going to do? I'm going to send you to the principal's office, young man. That kid will punch me in the mouth, and I'm not going to get knocked out by a kid because somebody will put that on TikTok, and I can't have that, so I got to punch your kid in the mouth. I'd hate to have to do it, but all right, let's take a look. The question is via YouTube, were you ever suspended from school? Okay, I have been, so I'm going to answer. Hold on, no, but wait. I got suspended because I didn't do nothing wrong. I think I got suspended because I got an after-school detention that I didn't go to. And then they give you, did you guys have Saturday suspensions? Saturdays, we called them? Saturdays were fantastic. All right, so it's basically the movie The Breakfast Club. They did that in Brown Deer at least through my sophomore or junior year in high school. So if you had a certain infraction, it wasn't for fighting, because fighting, they would just kick you off for 3 days. If you got a certain number of like after-school detentions and you didn't go to them, whatever, you could serve, let's say somebody had 10 detentions. They could say, okay, we'll get rid of your 10 detention. And detention was you got to stay after school for 45 minutes, which it really wasn't even that bad because all the cool kids were in detention. And then once we all got out, we all just like went to McDonald's together. So it wasn't even any kind of a punishment. But anyways, so a Saturday was, if you had like 10 or 15 after school detentions, they could say you come in one Saturday at 8 a.m. until noon and we'll wipe your detentions away. And you couldn't talk, right? You had to be quiet. But most kids would bring like a pillow and a blanket. Other kids would do their homework. So that was a form of discipline, so they thought. Very rarely do I remember anyone getting expelled from Brown Deer schools. There was a couple of kids that brought guns, but like idiots, they would tell people and then they would get snitched on. So they would oftentimes get expelled. But yes, I'm going to answer yes in the YouTube poll, and once I answer, I'll be able to see the percentages of how you all answered. The question is, were you ever suspended from school? Well, look at you, you little thugs. I don't know how any of you graduated with numbers like this. 60% of you have been suspended from school? What did you do? You guys are the reason why teachers don't want to stay in the classroom, you little thugs. So what'd y'all do? Bring brass knuckles and butterfly knives? And what'd you do? Bring a smoke bomb, put it in the boys' bathroom? Get caught smoking weed, did you? Oh, a bunch of y'all probably got caught smoking weed. Well, you guys put in the YouTube chat what you did to get suspended from school, because guess what? Oh, I know you remember. Now, here's what made getting suspended from school particularly embarrassing. So even if you had a Saturday detention, they technically call that a suspension. Or if you were fighting and they gave you a 3-day out-of-school suspension, you technically could not come back to school until your parents came back to re-enroll you. They basically just make your parent come in and, like, I don't know, talk to an administrator, say, okay, I'm reinstating my child. And it was embarrassing. Zach said it happened to him. You little thug, you. I remember my pops had to reinstate me. My mother was like, I am not going to that school to reinstate that boy. Eugene, you go. So here I am walking in with my pops in the beginning of the school day. And so the cafeteria was packed in the morning. Now I'm coming to realize that, you know what, why the cafeteria was so damn packed in the morning? Because the kids at Brown, the bunch of poor white kids got free lunch, free breakfast. Because there was only a handful of black kids going to Brown Deer when I was there, Brown Deer High School, where I will have you know that my plaque is hanging on the wall because I am in the Hall of Fame of Brown Deer High School. Let me on. Thank you so much. Thank you for this honor. I never thought that while I was attending Brown Deer High School that I would ever be bestowed with this beautiful moment. And I'd like to thank, of course, my parents. I'd like to thank all my teachers that believed in me. Thank you so much. Okay, then. You know who else got inducted with me? Diane Sykes. So it was me and a few other people, but this is one I remember. Like, you have to be like a big deal. You know who else is on the Wall of Fame at Brown Deer High School that actually beat me to the wall? She got inducted before me. Melanie Ricks, yeah. Man, Brown Deer be churning them out, don't they?
Yup.
But Diane Sykes was inducted in my same ceremony. She was not. Was she there? Former wife of political commentator Charlie Sykes. You know what Diane Sykes does? She's a federal judge. So I was inducted at the same time to my high school Hall of Fame, at the same time as a federal judge. And I was like, I just have been talking and using profanity on the radio for 20 years. That's hardly comparable to being a member of the federal judiciary. How am I pronouncing this name phonetically? Brother Shear? Brother Shear. Brother Shear, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Greetings. How you doing, bro?
That's who this is.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Long time no talk, man. How you been?
It's good to talk. I've been, well, you, out of all the stuff you done talked about, you didn't, got me to call in on your question about being suspended.
What did you do?
You know what I did? It won't be surprising to you. I got suspended for wearing my kufi, my red, black, and green hat to school.
Where did you go to school that they suspended you for that?
Washington High School, you couldn't wear a hat. Zero tolerance for hats. And so they called my kufi, my red, black, and green hat, no brim, you know.
Yeah.
I had, and I got suspended. And I'm calling in to you because at that time, you may remember the Carter and McGee show.
Yeah.
And Teju was on there.
That's
and
right.
My mother heard him talking, was able to reach out to him. And he got together at my house and talked to me and identified and appreciated me fighting for a value of our culture and our history, because I thought it wasn't enough black people on the walls of Washington High School. And he wrote a letter to the principal as a priest saying this is part of my religious beliefs, the same way Jewish students can wear their yarmulkes and others can wear other things that relate, and the whole dynamic of my high schooling changed. All of a sudden, I just wasn't a regular child. It was Mr. Winston.
Shiar, what year was this?
Everyone.
When did you graduate?
I graduated in 1990.
So you know what's crazy?
And
Dr. Fuller was the superintendent. We had a black superintendent when that happened.
Yes, he was. I remember that. So when that happened, from that, I started doing morning sessions talking about Black history. I would talk about Fuller, things he was doing. Mike McGee Sr. as alderman. I let that situation run the whole year. So people at Washington do remember they used to call me Fight the Power, what have you. But I'll tell you something that many people don't know that makes a difference with what you're saying is if you were a teacher and being real, is that I took a gun to school.
What?
I wasn't getting beat up. Had a little 22.
Don't do that.
But unlike these kids out here, nobody should know you have a gun but you. No one should know you have a gun. These kids, which is actually good for police, you talk to members of the Nation of Islam, they'll let you know when they patrol certain police who really understand the hood. You can see these young people. They walking on their toes proud. You know how these kids really be out here. But if they walking on it proud, looking a certain way, they waiting for you to do something. They got a gun. And you can, address them in a certain way and get them off the street, which I've seen members of Nation Islam do. So I brought a gun, but you know what? I never had to use it because the teachers, it was teachers there. So all the fantasies about getting beat up and after school, because I was like, I'm not down with getting beat up in freshman day and all that type of stuff. No, that wasn't happening.
Well, we're also glad you never had to use the gun, because if you would have, your life would have turned out very. Ever. But Brother Shiar, it's great to hear from you, but I got to grab another call. Don't be a stranger.
Right.
Call us back soon. All right, then. He said, I brought my gun to school every single day. I didn't have to shoot nobody, though, but nobody knew I had my. Well, now everybody knows you had a gun.
Best educated, best equipped, best prepared troops refuse to fight. Matter of fact, it's safe to say that they would rather switch than fight.
Gotta play that. Let's talk to that one guy. I know you've been suspended from school. In fact, you were probably expelled. What'd you get expelled for?
I was suspended for 3 days. Nothing serious. Me and my friend both did it. But we were little kids. We were stupid, like middle school. We drew emo SpongeBob, and he's holding like a mini Uzi, and then you got a dead plankton behind him, And it was just a joke, And then I guess my teacher found it, and then it disappeared from my desk. I wonder what happened to that picture. And I was thinking to myself, all of a sudden I get pulled aside the next day, and there's these white teachers, and they're like, "Son, are you planning on hurting somebody? You're gonna hurt yourself?" And they made me spill the beans. I'm like, "No, we were just playing around."
How old are you?
Crazy going on here.
You drew a SpongeBob with a Uzi. How old is you, man? SpongeBob.
I think I was
not then.
14.
How old are you now?
Am I now? I like to say 21 forever. You could add like 12 years to that.
You're 30.
Yeah, 32.
Oh, you're young.
32 is good, sir.
You also came up in an era where there was school shootings, so y'all couldn't draw guns because that was a threat. You couldn't do that.
And everybody would do the school walkouts, even though nobody was really protesting. I didn't even know what people were protesting for. I just joined in the walkouts because I wanted to get out of class.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Indian Trail Academy back when there was academy, and then they got ruined because it became a high school. They took the funds away from the schools.
Are you native?
But native?
In Indian Trail Academy, a native school?
No, it's just the name of it.
Oh, sorry.
It's in Kenosha.
Oh, you're from Kenosha. You're not from here. Okay.
Oh, wow. That's the last place I'm from. But anyways, and then I also got in trouble because I refused to take some stupid. They're making all the Mexicans take all this English literature.
Oh, that's right. You're a Mexican.
And I guess I was the only one that refused to take it. I was like, "Oh, screw this! I ain't taking this." And then they pulled me aside, and all these white teachers were like, "This Mexican just refused to take this test." Well, I did, and they were trying to kind of like not intimidate, but they were like, "This is going to affect your future when you try to sign up for college." Well, I ain't going to college, which I did, and then I dropped out because it wasn't for me. And I got work, and I just got a job, and I worked in there, But yeah, man, it was fun. School back then was, it was fun. Mingling around with interracial relationships. Oh yeah.
You like that? You have a black girlfriend? You like that chocolate?
I never.
Because if you're Mexican and dating a white girl, that's not interracial.
I've been molested by black women before.
Hey.
When I was, in high school, because these black girls that too were like. Those black girls, they ain't scared, man. They ain't scared to flirt, that's for sure. But yeah, like mostly just white women. And
you're saying a lot. I just want to slow you down a little bit because you're saying you weren't molested. You just the black girls were maybe a little. They were a little touchy.
Yeah, they weren't afraid to to get all touchy because.
Were you afraid? It sounded like you were scared. Were you scared?
I was I was a little bit, because I was young and I wasn't expecting to get my ass fondled like that. But yeah, like I was like, oh, what the hell? What's going on? Now, you know, as you get older,
you're saying so much. Your ass was fondled on the outside of your clothes.
What do you mean by that?
Because I was just walking down the hallway, all of a sudden these two black girls, like they
you got your ass grabbed. Oh, that's nothing. That's not. You made it seem like it was Epstein file. Like these black girls in the Epstein file. It's not that bad. You just got your butt grabbed. So what?
Well, they did the slap, and then like I was like, "Hey man, what just happened?" And she was like, "Boy, I knew he just felt that." And she did it again, and she like, you know, get a nice little scoop of it too. And they both ran off laughing. I'm like, "What just happened to me?" But yeah. Fun.
All right. Thank you for your call. That was great.
Right.
Okay, then. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, that was different.
He had a lot going on, didn't he? He was like, oh, these black girls molested me. He got his ass slapped in the hallway. Come on. Way worse stuff went on than that. I got to take a break. I think I might have made a mistake by entertaining this topic and asking people what you got suspended for. But as I'm looking at the poll on the YouTube, 69 people have voted and 61% of you said, yes, in fact, you were suspended from school at some point in time. I want to hear from you. What did you do? And we need to do something about the discipline problems that we're having right now in schools, because that is one of the reasons that teachers are citing as to why they're leaving the profession and never coming back. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, make sure you tune in on Thursday, February 5th at 10 a.m. on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, as there will be a special Forward Together for Kids live interview on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. City 4 Collective's Coleston Morgan Jr., along with special guest Al Keefe, CEO of Milwaukee College Prep, and Anthony McHenry, CEO of Milwaukee Academy of Science, will be joining Sherwin for a powerful conversation on education and the importance of the Black Educator Pipeline. You definitely won't want to miss that conversation.
Ready to move? Find your next home with Odom Investments and Property Management. Beautiful rentals, great locations, and professional service. All the way Odom Way. Call 855-ODOM-WAY. That's 855-ODOM-WAY. Or 855-636-6929. Your home is waiting.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
another summer. Sound of the funky drummer. Music hitting your heart, 'cause I know you got some.
I remember 1989 like it was yesterday. That's crazy how memory works.
Damn.
I usually can't even remember what I had for lunch the previous day. However, I remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So I went to, Mr. Dye's Pies got pasties now. So I went and got me a pasty. You don't know what a pasty is, Zach? Somebody in the YouTube chat inform Zach on what a pasty is. I ain't telling you. I'm going to let somebody else tell you. Or text it to 833-212.
Is it like a
1017
calzone pie?
Kinda. Yeah. Pasty. It's pasty. I got me a pasty. And he's like, hey, Sherwin. I said, what's up, Mr. Dye, Jonathan? He said, you want some pie? I'll give you a free slice of pie. I said, what? So I took a slice of the blueberry. He's like, ooh, I make that with a little ginger in it. Thank you, Mr. Dye. He knew what he was doing, because now I want another slice of that damn blueberry pie. He gave me a free slice of pie. Now I got to go back when my show is over, go get me another piece of pie. It was delicious. Is he open right now?
I think so. Or 11.
Yeah, I need a piece of
blueberry.
Yeah, you want to get one too? You can get one too.
All right,
I'll give you my card. Go get some pies. He used to come in here and give us pies, because around holidays, like, the line to get a pie from him is so damn long. It's longer than any other line that we have in any other 10, 15, 20 restaurants we have at the Third Street Market Hall. So he stopped, or at least he stopped coming to my show. He might have went to Tori's show. He used to bring all sorts of pies, and he would display them on our shows, and of course you all would go crazy and buy the pies. But Mr. Dye's blueberry pie, and then his pasties he has, woo, top notch. I said all that to say, I remember 1989 like it was yesterday. I was a freshman in high school, and the world was all so new, and high school was so fun, and I was playing football, and all my friends were there, and it was just a good time. High school was very social for me. I just loved my high school experience, and I feel very bad for people that did not have a dynamic high school experience, because that was like my favorite part of my childhood were those experiences in school, riding the school bus. The school bus was this apparatus in which there was no rules. Because back in the day, you got to keep in mind, if I'm riding the school bus and my school bus driver, and this is the 80s now, if my school bus driver was 40 years old, they were born during World War II. They were just different. The adults were just different, and they didn't care what we did. The school bus was lawless. We had spitball fights. We wrestled. We tried to throw people out the window. It was this time in which the bus filled with your friends. At another stop, here comes another one of your friends, and another one of your friends, and another one of your friends. And it's this gigantic yellow and black apparatus filled with unruly kids where there was just no order whatsoever. Like, those were some of my most favorite memories. I think that our lack of discipline stopped when we entered the school. I got some details here that chronicles the decades and how from the 1970s, when the information and the statistics were few and far between, because it was so rare that children were getting expelled from school, there was barely any statistics to keep. But there was a steady increase through the 1980s, the 1990s, of course, corresponding with heavy discipline on children and the entrance of school safety officers and the drug awareness resistance education program, because everybody was thoroughly convinced that marijuana was going to be the death knell of children. Also have some information 30 years later that shows that children that participated in the 17-week DARE program, some of y'all remember the DARE program. MPS had their own version of it called Hang Tough. They said that those children were just as likely, if not more likely, to use illicit drugs and marijuana even after they completed the drug awareness resistance education program. You know what that program was about? Getting police into the schools to earn the trust of children so that the children would tell the police about their parents' drug use. Oh, yeah, it was a whole scam from the beginning. $600 million the Drug Awareness Resistance Education Program siphoned off from taxpayers to try and prevent children from doing drugs, and y'all got high any damn way. So we have a YouTube poll question, as we always do, asking you if you have ever been suspended from school. And the majority of you have, and I am not shocked based upon some of the things I see you guys say in the comments. Let's start with the 1980s. The overall school suspension rate in the early 1980s was low. It was about 4% of students per school year received any kind of suspension. That's in the 70s and 80s time frame. By comparison with later decades, this is considered the baseline lowest point in American scholastic history. Comprehensive national data from this decade is sparse, but surveys suggest fewer exclusionary disciplinary actions were used, with many nonviolent behaviors managed via detention or teacher-led correction rather than formal suspensions. I find it interesting because this is an era when probably both parents worked and school districts were respectful of that because they're not kicking a kid out of school when there is no parental supervision. It's a really bad idea. Or they also understood the burden of a parent having to leave work to go and pick their suspended child up and then have to take the rest of the day and probably 2 more days off of work while their child was serving their suspension. But as time moved on, you also are going to see a higher incidence of single motherhood. So now you could suspend the kid. You could kick them out of school because you might have a mom at home that ain't got no damn job and they both suspended together. Take a break, come back, go through the decades and talk about this worsening of student behavior, which is currently cited as a reason why in the state of Wisconsin, 60% of teachers that enter the profession don't make it to year 8. Not only do they not make it 8 years in the classroom with your badass kids, they opt to never return to teaching ever again, and this does not bode well for our future workforce. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Looking for a delicious meal without breaking the bank? Cousin Subs has you covered. Our $10 meal deal gives you a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub piled high with fresh hand-sliced ingredients, crisp veggies, and all your favorite toppings. Add a bag of chips or regular fries, a fountain drink, and a cookie, all for just $10. This deal's available online or through the Cousins app only. And you can enjoy your meal at home, at work, or delivered straight to your door, hot and fresh. Cousin Subs. We believe in better. Available at participating locations. Offer subject to change.
We need to optimize the PID controller for smoother robotic movements.
Our data analysis shows a significant correlation between the variables in both control groups.
The test shows you've experienced an acute myocardial infarction.
As you'll see on the syllabus, this course will largely focus on the Mesozoic era.
Get your child the access every child deserves. Enroll your K through 8th grade child by February 28 at Milwaukee College Prep, mkeprep.com/enroll.
He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
I caught an Uber in the evening, and my show comes on. The playback is at 6. My show comes on at 6 to 9. The driver was Somalian, and I was just, in the back seat. And so he was listening to my show, and we was talking about what was going on in Minnesota.
What was his take?
No, he liked my show. He liked it. He liked my show. He didn't know it was me, though. He didn't know that the person that was on the radio was in his back seat. So what was funny was I was listening to me and listening to how he was listening to the show. And so I asked him, I said, you like that show? And he was like, oh, yeah, I love that show.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m., live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day. Too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to be giving away a pair of tickets to the Truth Community Awards. This is our second annual Truth Community Awards, where we are celebrating the excellence and the greatness of our community. And there's some award recipients. I think the award recipients have been notified, right? I think I have a list of them, but I don't know if I'm supposed to read them or not. But we're going to give you a chance to attend the second annual Truth Community Awards, so make sure you stay tuned. Hey, who won the Gruber 5K? Was she excited at least? I'm assuming it was a woman. We know?
Yeah, here, hold on.
All right. Well, congratulations to who won. I think Dr. King gave it away. So, man, I don't give away. If we go in order, then Homer and or Bailey and Dane will be the next, and I'll be after them. So I'm not giving away 5Gs for like 6 months.
Here, we can find out who it was.
I don't even remember who my last winner was.
Hello, is this Shirley? This is she.
Shirley.
Oh, okay.
Shirley, you
Let's
are
let it
our
play.
Gruber 5K giveaway winner this quarter. Congratulations.
What would you do with $5,000?
That's the kind of excitement.
Buying me a pickup truck. That will be some of my down payment.
Stay tuned into 1017.
Shirley buying a pickup truck. That's
Yeah, down payment on it.
Don't put a down payment on a car, yo. It's a waste of money. Keep your cash and just extend the payments. Yeah, don't put a down payment if you're buying a vehicle. If you're leasing, don't put a down payment down. Don't. That's just money for the dealership. It's something like every $1,000 you put down is only like $20 or $25 a month, maybe even less than that. Keep your cash. Don't do that. So stay tuned. We're going to give you a chance to.
And also, while we're on the topic,
Yes.
Shirley was actually the third person I called. The first winner was Jerome, but he didn't answer.
Of course.
And then I had to call Michael, and Michael had some like Android that had some Google AI assist.
Nope.
And so,
You gonna
yeah, I
lose.
wasn't getting through to him.
We tell folks for a whole week, this is the day, this is the show, we're going to give away $5,000. Okay? You wait for 3 months, and we tell you for a whole week on every single show. Hey, make sure you listen to Dr. Ken. Make sure you listen to Tori Lowe. Make sure you listen to Homer Blow and or Bailey or Dame. Make sure you listen to good old Sherwin. Make sure you listen to Kyle Wallace on this day because we're going to call you, and if you don't answer, we go on to the next person. You know,
Yeah, normally that's how we do it, but in Truth Nation's defense, we sprung it on him.
I know we told him ahead of time.
A day before.
Zach, no.
It's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on here?
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
I mean, I'd come in and do my show. When I come in the morning, ain't nothing going on. I come in, it's quiet, ain't nobody here. I get here early. I have a new room, a new show prep room.
But yeah, where do you do it?
No, I ain't telling you. It's a hidden little room that don't nobody know about. And I don't want to tell nobody where my new show prep room is because all of a sudden they're going to have a construction project for that room if I tell them where it is. It's a little tuckaway. People be walking right past and don't even know I'm in there. I love it. It's a little quiet little room. So I walk in and nobody is here. And sometimes I just walk in my room. It's got chairs in it, real comfortable chair, and I just sit there and and it's quiet. And I'm like, let me get a sip of coffee. And I give me a little sip of coffee. Let me get a little water. Be hydrated. This is how I begin preparing my show. And you guys are listening to the output of it right now. Don't worry, we're going to get back to the teacher shortage in a second. I assure you, no teachers are going to decide that they want to now stay in the profession because I'm stalling the segment a little bit. I'm trying to tell you all how I prepare. Give me a little sip of water. Pull out my laptop. Fire it up. Sometimes I'll send myself emails because if I'm watching the news that previous night, I'm like, oh, that could be an interesting story. Like, oh, maybe I'll talk about that. So I'll send myself things periodically. So really my preparation for my show starts the day before. I'm like, oh, this will be a good story. If I'm watching the news or if I find out something that Trump did, I'm like, oh, yeah, let me make a little note to myself. But then when I get to the station the next morning, all of the things that I thought would be of interest and fascination for a show topic or segment have already been replaced by something else. But I'm constantly thinking about what topics can I introduce and have a discussion on that once we have a full vetting of the topic, we can move the community forward. How do we improve people's lives with information? Because I take very seriously informing the people in this city or whoever listens, especially in this city, though, because you are battleground state voters and our democracy only works if people are informed with the truth. And I am on a relentless pursuit of it to try and demystify and explain to the best of my ability with varying results some of the things that are happening in our world. I also feel an overwhelming amount of pressure because we didn't learn any of this stuff in school. And it almost, at this point, seems intentional. What we got right here? The overall suspension rate in the early 80s and the 1970s was around 4% of students per school year. By comparison with later decades, this is considered a baseline low point. Comprehensive national data from these decades, the 70s and the 80s, are sparse, but surveys suggest fewer exclusionary disciplinary actions were used, with many nonviolent behaviors managed with detention, which guilty is charged. I got plenty of detentions, or teacher-led correction rather than formal suspension. Some of y'all got hit by your teachers. That's foreign to me. Up until, I thought they outlawed, that's called corporal punishment, where the teachers could legally hit the kids. Some of y'all were getting hit after I think that was made illegal. I think I was just having a conversation with somebody like, oh yeah, sure, when our teachers would correct us, like they would slap our wrists or they would slap us. Wait, what? I wish one of my teachers would have. And that's one thing that did not happen. I did not ever witness that. But I think that may have happened to some of y'all up until the 1980s or the 1990s. Zach, could you imagine if one of your teachers slapped you across the face?
I would have hit back.
Of course. You ain't going to hit me and not expect to get hit back. That's insane.
I wish it would.
School safety officers, police school resource officers were rare in the 1970s. Only 1% of schools nationwide had police stationed on campus. Through the 1980s, SROs, school resource officers' usage began to grow slowly with programs like DARE, the Drug Awareness Resistance Education, introducing more law enforcement presence in schools. The 1990s, behavior and discipline. Suspension and expulsion rates dramatically increased compared to the 1980s. By the mid-1990s, the national suspension/expulsion share was rising due to zero-tolerance policies introduced in response to concerns about juvenile crime and weapons in school. We had somebody calling, Brother Shiar called in and said, yeah, I brought a 22 to school every day. Don't bring guns to school. It's very bad. Federal data point to an increase in disciplinary actions into the late 1990s. Millions of students were suspended by this period. up from lower levels in the previous 2 decades. The presence of SROs expanded more rapidly in the 1990s, especially after high-profile shootings like the 1998 Jonesboro and the 1999 Columbine incidents between 1997 and 2007. The number of school resource officers increased by nearly 7,000, driven by increased federal funding. By the end of the 1990s, roughly half of schools in America reported seeing a police presence regularly, according to some surveys. So I'm going to pause there. When I come back, let's talk about the increase of law enforcement in schools to deal with some of the discipline problems that teachers simply were not able to deal with, and how the behavior of children is cited as a reason as to why teachers are not making it to year 8 and never returning to the profession again. And like I said previously, that does not bode well for the future of our workforce if nobody wants to be a teacher. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. On Wednesday night, the Milwaukee Panthers complete their homestand as they host the Detroit Mercy Titans at the UWM Panther Arena.
3 feet the block. Franklin, contact, yes! Score it in 1. Back to the top, Dixon. Driving right, step back, wing, 3 on the way, and he hit it! Josh Dixon with a ceiling scraper.
Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 6:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 7 o'clock. This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update on the new 1017 The Truth.
The Milwaukee Juneau Pioneers went on the road and absolutely steamrolled the Milwaukee Bradley Tech Trojans 96-58. 4-star junior forward Dooney Johnson led the charge, pouring in 35 points as Juneau continues to put the city and the state on notice. With that win, the Pioneers improved to 14-1 on the season and extend their winning streak to 13 straight games. Now over to the girls of the Gold Division as the Goldemeyer Owls dominated this past Tuesday night on the road at Milwaukee School of Languages, cruising to a 60-23 victory. Senior Anaya Blackman caught fire, dropping 30 points and knocking down 8 3-pointers. She was joined by senior Amira Taylor, who delivered a monster performance as well with 21 points and 21 rebounds. The Owls improved to 11-7 overall and 11-1 in conference, now tied atop the Gold Division with the Milwaukee King Lady Generals. Those two will meet to close the season with the conference title on the line.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update. MPS proud and MPS strong.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
If you've been injured, let our team help get you back in the game. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth proudly celebrates excellence and the most monumental moments in our history. All month long, we'll be honoring the voices, the stories, and the achievements that have shaped our past, empowered our present, and continue to inspire our future. Tune in for Dr. Ken's Trivia, spotlighting powerful facts and moments you need to know, and Tori Lowe's Our Voices, Our Stories, amplifying the youth, perspectives, and lived experiences. Tune in all month long as 1017 The Truth lifts up the legacy, the brilliance, and the power of Black history, because Black history isn't just history. It's happening every day. 1017 The Truth's celebration of Black History Month is proudly sponsored by Educators Credit Union and Tayback Law. I think I might call in on Dr. Ken's trivia show and win it. Also, speaking of winning, I'm going to give you a pair of tickets to the second annual Truth Community Awards. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Right now, we are talking about these discipline problems in the classroom, which is cited by teachers here in Wisconsin. It's really a nationwide teacher shortage. We also have shortages in a bunch of other professions, but you have to address the teacher shortage first before you get to some of the shortages in those other vocations and professions, because if people don't want to teach elementary school and middle school and high school, that should be where the priority is, because if there is a lack of demand for those teachers, or if we are filling the gaps with permanent substitute teachers, I don't know if the quality of education our young people are getting, and they deserve a high quality education, I don't know if it is going to produce the kinds of students that we will need to fill the other vocations that have shortages as well. By the 2000s, behavior and discipline reached a fever pitch. Suspension rates continued to rise into the early 2000s and peaked around the 2010 through 2012 school years, where about 7% of the enrollment at any one time was suspended, and that is double the statistics of the 1980s. Expulsions or permanent removals also climbed. During the 2002-2003 school year, more than 3 million students were suspended and 90,000 were expelled. School safety officers, security staff, including SROs, became common. Surveys show the percentage of schools with security personnel, guards, and officers increased sharply through the 2000s. The late 2000s continued the trend of more schools hiring SROs and expanding security in response to safety concerns around student behavior and broader crime fears. The 2010s, although discipline rates like suspensions peaked in the early 2010s at 7%, by the late 2010s, they had started to decline to about 5% by 2017-2018 school year. The decline reflects policy pushes nationwide, the Obama-era guidance promoting, quote, restorative practices and alternatives to exclusionary discipline. However, many schools still cited insubordination and disruptive behavior as major contributors to serious discipline actions. Teachers know what kind of a parent you are by how your kid acts. And I wish more parents would be self-aware of that, because the person that you are sending to school is a representation of who you are, how you are, a representation of your home, what goes on in the home. Some of y'all are sending your kids to elementary school smelling like weed. Some elementary school kids probably smoke weed, though, too. What teachers can learn about you? Because, I don't know if you guys had this talk. Black parents have this talk with their kids. Don't you tell nobody this family's business. It ain't nobody's business. Because family stuff is family stuff, right? The things that you may discuss at home. Because my mother, she used to go to every single one of my teacher conferences. I hated it. But my mother also would take my side sometimes, too. Sherwin, I see why you don't like that history teacher. I don't like him either. And so, she would call him all sorts of heifers. This heifer gave me an attitude. Now, it wouldn't necessarily excuse my bad grade, but I would get some level of respect if my mother also had an issue with the teacher. And I'd be wanting to tell the teacher. I'd be wanting to go back to school and be like, my mama don't like your ass either. But I would never, you know what I mean? You can't say that, but I'd be wanting to say it. That's also a part of what my parents would say about my educators. I don't share that with my educators because it's a whole mess and you don't want kids involved in adult gossip. But some teachers were just, you could tell they weren't happy to be in the classroom, but then there were other teachers that were simply fantastic, and those are the teachers that I remember. In fact, when I was inducted into the Browndale High School Hall of Fame, my history teacher, Mr. Fred Sibick, was there. Mr. Sibick was also at my father's funeral. So there are some teachers that transcend the profession in a way that I wish more people had the motivation. Like it's something like a teacher like that is why I would consider their profession. Because when you're in school, you have no idea, because kids they don't know. Why do I need to learn this stuff? You're going to need to know it. Why do I need to know math? Because math is more important than words. Why do I need to know? When you're young, you have no worldly understanding of what is coming your way in your future, and futures are impossible to predict. Now, you can be prepared, but you never know. Most of you, whatever it is you're doing right now in this moment, 30 years ago, if you were around 30 years ago, you didn't think in a million years you would be where you are and you would have the life that you have right now. Now, you probably had an inkling or an idea, but all of us have a moment in our adult life where you have a fork in the road and you decide to go in one direction. And then you wonder, don't you, what would my life be had I gone in this direction? Had I married this person? Had I divorced this person? And the other one that y'all think about, which we probably should discuss in greater detail for hour 3, is what if I didn't have kids? It's okay to think that, because I know some of y'all regret it. And we can tell there is not a parent alive. I'm not saying you don't love your children. I'm not saying that at all. But there isn't a parent alive that hasn't thought about how your life would be different if you never had children. Maybe your life would be sad. You would be so sad you never had the babies. Or some of you may think, oh, had I never had these kids, I would be rich. I would be independently wealthy. I would do nothing but drink champagne and travel to Bermuda all the time. I would party. I would be able to go as I please and do this and do that. I could go and be a total thought. I wouldn't have to be responsible if I didn't have kids, and it's perfectly okay to think that. Problem is, I think that attitude permeates into your children's behavior, because sometimes your children know that they are unwanted and unloved by you. Your kids know when you send them with grandma all the time. Got grandma right, the damn kid don't know if the grandma's the grandma, if the grandma is the mama. Got the kids calling the grandmama mama and calling the mama by her first name. I've seen it. It's real. We got to deal with our teacher shortage here in Wisconsin. Another primary cause is compensation. Inflation-adjusted median teacher pay has actually dropped 13 to 19% in the last 15 years. Burnout is also cited. Teachers cite high workloads, lack of a work-life balance, and increased social tensions as a top reason for quitting the profession and never coming back. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back for hour 3.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Truth Nation, make sure you tune in on Thursday, February 5th at 10 a.m. on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, as there will be a special Forward Together for Kids live interview on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. City 4 Collective's Coleston Morgan Jr., along with special guest Al Keith, CEO of Milwaukee College Prep, and Anthony McHenry, CEO of Milwaukee Academy of Science, will be joining Sherwin for a powerful conversation on education and the importance of the Black Educator Pipeline. You definitely won't want to miss that conversation.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting.
It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
You are listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Talking about education. Going to be talking about education again tomorrow. They have a name for it. The segment or the thing I'm doing tomorrow. City Forward Collective, but it's going to be Celestin Morgan from City Forward Collective and Al Keith from Milwaukee College Prep and the third. And we're going to talk about education. I want some of y'all to want to be teachers. It's not too late to go into the classroom. We need teachers. Emergency licenses. The Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction issued over 3,800 temporary licenses in the 2023-24 school year to fill gaps with uncertified staff. Apprenticeships. Recent legislation, Senate Bill 917, aims to expand teacher apprenticeship programs statewide to create grow your own teacher pipelines. Gnostic Devil asked me on the text line at 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. If you were a hot shot black teacher fresh from an HBCU, would you rather teach at a cushy suburban school or an understaffed Milwaukee public school with all those issues without even thinking twice at the public school? And teaching at suburban schools ain't cushy because you got to deal with parents that will call you and bug you and bother you if you give their child a B. It could be a D student, but they did okay, and you give them a B. Parent gonna have a fit. Parent gonna be on you. Parent gonna be want to come to the school. Parent gonna want to send you a whole bunch of emails. Parent is gonna want to influence you to influence their child's grade. Suburban parents are the worst. Now, I could also look at it from a different perspective. I would teach them so much black history, and them little white kids would go home wearing dashikis and wanting to date interracially. So, you know what I mean? It might, I'm just saying, oh boy, y'all post a lot of prom pictures Some of them are questionable because you let your little 14-year-old daughters dress like pure thoughts. What is wrong with some of y'all? You know exactly who I'm talking to. Don't do that. Don't do that now. But you know what else I find so fascinating? Because you see the McGuanago prom and the New Berlin Eisenhower prom and the Waukesha Central prom. And these white girls are going with black boys to prom. Ooh, don't. I think that's karma and revenge for all the racism. That's what I say now to when somebody says something racist in like social media comments. I say, may all your grandchildren be black. They hate that because they know that their daughter has an affinity.
Can I use that?
Absolutely. Because they don't even respond to that because they know that that's their nightmare. At some point, I'd love to have a discussion about that, but it would get... Oh, look who we got on line one. I really don't want to bring the topic up now. White men are more disturbed by interracial dating than I think the stereotype of black women when they see black men with white women. Most black women don't care. Let me tell you why most black women don't care. Because most black women absolutely will have, date, and marry white men without even thinking twice. But that doesn't upset black men. In fact, if Barack Obama had a white wife, black women would have had a lot to say about that. White men would have too, but black women would have been real vocal. Kamala Harris has a white husband, and none of us cared because it didn't change my sentiment on why she would have been a better president than Trump. But I think most black men really don't care because if there's a black woman that is dating, engaged to, married to a white man, that's not a loss for me because I was never her type. And I also don't believe, well, there's no good black men, so let me go and date a white man. That's a choice. Don't blame us. And plus, there's plenty of good black men. They just don't want you. I'm just saying. Stop asking where all the good men are. The good men are working hard, stacking money. They're at the gym. They're taking care of themselves. They're being great stewards of our community. They're registering voters. They're donating blood. That's where all the good black men are at. They just don't want you. And stop treating beauty like it's success. Stop it. It's not successful. Because if you're pretty and a horrible person, you're going to be alone. Let's talk to Al. Hey, Al. How are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I think that the other reason why a lot of white men get mad when white women mess with black men because they know black men leave a lot of space.
Oh.
And then a lot of white men they feel kind of intimidated by black men. But that's a mental issue. But when the black man gets with the white woman, they feel like they have to compete, and unfortunately, sometimes they cannot compete. What I wanted to say here, when it comes to the children, and especially for women, children are supposed to be a blessing. I would say, no matter what you do, just pay attention to who you let nut in you.
Oh.
I think that's where the problem is.
Oh.
Sometimes you might have to use a hand of Vaseline. Or a hand of Vaseline? Because, sometimes back in old school days, they would take the Vaseline and put it up there for JJ. Because it kinks up when water or anything, that fluid hit it. Some certain babies does not need to hit that canal. You know what I mean? And some people are made to be one-night stands. And where we are today, every woman should have $500 in the dresser.
Why?
Yeah. When in doubt, abort it out. You just lay there, let them suck that thing right up out of you, and you go on your next day. So that's all I wanted to say to the women. Because these kids come here and, they're blamed by their mother for looking like their daddy, but that's not their fault. You just let the wrong man nut in you. You know what I mean? So you got to be very, very careful about that. And sometimes it don't even have to do all that. Sometimes just use your mouth. Tastes great, let's feel it. But I want all y'all to have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. And let's start giving black men more credit when it comes to the trades. You don't have to make it a life lesson, and you don't have to be a full-time career. But if you know how to roll blunts, cook crack, dumb down cocaine, weigh weed, you know how to measure. You just got to take your time and figure it out. Y'all know how to scam without getting caught. Y'all know how to do all that other stuff. So just do it as to get your foot in the door. If you have one plumber, one electrician, carpenter, and one HVAC, y'all could dominate the game.
One standard.
And be $1 million business, but just don't put limits on yourself. But have a great day, and sometimes say no. And women, make sure you get that loom that's used for pickling pickles. So just in case if he's gone for a couple of weekends, and you go something real big, and you want to tighten it all back together, he'll never know. Or just tell him you on your monthly, and just have him hold you, and wait till the next day. Just get the grip this and tighten this back, and then you won't get in trouble. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
I want to go home. I want to just... Caller number 5 right now wins a pair of tickets to the 2nd annual Truth Community Awards. This is where we are going to present... Hang on, I want to be specific, Zach. I don't know. What? Ladies, don't listen to that advice. It sounds like an infection waiting to happen. Zach, where's the piece of paper you just gave me?
I don't know. It's still. I thought you're flustered.
Wait, what happened? I don't know. I don't know what's. I can't find it. Just call 833-212-1017, and I'm gonna give you a pair of tickets to go to the Truth Community Awards. It's gonna be here at the 3rd Street Market Hall at Venue 3. Call number 5, please. Please help me. Please. Why would he say that? What's that? Zach, didn't you just come in here with a piece of paper? Right here. Here it is. Truth Nation, mark your calendars for Friday, February 20th for the 2nd annual Truth Community Awards. The Truth Community Awards presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, hosted by Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman, celebrating individuals making a real difference in our community. Tickets are on sale now. Visit 1017thetruth.com to learn more. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffel's Cousin Subs, and the 3rd Street Market Hall. Come and celebrate with us on Friday, February 20th at the Truth Community Awards presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and hosted by Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman from 5:30 until 8 at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall. Do not miss out on the best community awards event of the year. Caller number 5 wins a pair of tickets. Hello, caller number 5. Congratulations. Who is this?
It's Miss Carolyn.
Congratulations, Miss Carolyn. You just won yourself a pair of tickets to the 2nd annual Truth Community Awards. I'm so proud of you. I'm very happy that you won because thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for
thank
that.
you.
Okay, then. So you need to stay on hold, and then Zach is going to get your information, and we'll have a pair of tickets for you to the 2nd annual Truth Community Awards. Okay, all right then. All right, hold on now, Carolyn. There we go. That's Carolyn for you. All right. Whew. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you can save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey y'all, it's 1017 The Truth's Rhea Riley for Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments, including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth is the proud home of Milwaukee Panthers basketball. Panthers basketball is back in action tonight as UWM celebrates Black History Month against the Detroit Mercy Titans. Woo! Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 6:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. 7 p.m. 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Scott Warris has the coverage at 7 p.m. Al threw me off with that. Don't listen to his advice, ladies. Don't cheat on your man, please. Even though women cheat more than men. I mean, they know that. It's just, they gaslight us. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this teacher shortage. Tuition pledges, initiatives like the UW-Madison Teacher Pledge, pay students tuition in exchange for a commitment to teach in Wisconsin for 3 to 4 years. I think they need to extend that. There's a point in time where Minnesota, a lot of Wisconsinites were going to Minnesota to teach in public schools. So before the Joe Biden student loan forgiveness program, states were independently offering their own student loan forgiveness programs. And what Minnesota did with their public schools, and it was like a groundbreaking, revolutionary kind of program because they wanted real-world professionals to come into the classroom and teach in high schools. So had you been an accountant or a lawyer, or maybe if you worked in the trades, they wanted your real-world experience in the classroom. And so it was 5 years was the commitment. If you agreed to teach, now they selected the school, though. This is what maybe turned some people off because the schools that had the biggest teacher shortages and had the biggest challenges, but they would forgive all of your student loans with no maximum if you agreed to teach in a Minnesota public school of need for 5 years. So you get in your teacher salary and you get all of your benefits, and they would completely repay. So while you were teaching, they would make your monthly payments on your behalf, and then after the 5-year period, which you agreed to, they would wipe out the remaining balance. And that was a fantastic program because it diversified the people that were in the classroom. And I think the people that have actually lived in the real world and had actual jobs and careers and vocations, when they bring that worldly experience into the classroom, I think it can provide a lot more depth, because it's always more interesting hearing from someone who's actually done the work, had the career, and they can tell you what it's like being in that career and deliver that to young people that are in the classroom. But I'm really, really concerned, especially as we are continuing to fund the Milwaukee Public Schools. And let me be clear when I say this, because I don't want people to think that I want to take funding away from MPS. I do not. Education is expensive. And especially with all of the necessary technology and how technology grows and expands, our classrooms need to be fitted with technology. And now I would say that at some point in a child's curriculum, I don't know when you start, but there needs to be some kind of instruction on how children can use artificial intelligence. Because if you're in 7th or 8th grade right now, what AI is going to be by the time you become an adult or by the time you enter the workforce, you're going to wish you had learned it when you were much younger. So technology changes, the curriculum has to change too, but also the cultural relevance, which I think that we oftentimes ignore. There need to be more instructors that have a culture in common with those children. And I'm not saying that black and brown children can't learn from white teachers, but it's different. It's much more credible when the information is coming from someone who you can physically actually relate to. Only 55.6% of first-time teachers remain in Wisconsin public schools after 7 years. This special education is probably one of the worst. This field faces the most severe shortages, with only 46% of teachers staying past their 7th year. Urban and rural struggle. Cities like Milwaukee, which had a 20% emergency license rate, and small rural districts face the hardest recruitment hurdles when it comes to teaching. Licensing gaps. Nearly 80% of preparation program completers got licensed, but only 66.6% actually take jobs teaching in Wisconsin public schools. Burnout. Teachers in Wisconsin cite high workloads, lack of work-life balance, and increased social tensions as top reasons for quitting the profession. Entry barriers. Low first-time pass rates for the Foundations of Reading test, or the FORT, at 48% delay or block new teachers from licensure. Wait a minute, teachers can't pass a reading test? Huh. Makes sense to me. Unbelievable. Well, what do we expect, though? All right, what's this here? Negative student behavior in K-12 schools, often measured through indicators such as disciplinary actions, has been a subject of extensive analysis by educational researchers and federal agencies. It is essential to note that increases in disciplinary measures such as suspensions and expulsions and the deployment of school safety officers do not necessarily reflect corresponding rises in actual negative behavior, because teachers are citing the behavior of the children as one of the reasons why there's many reasons. Some of it is pay. Some of it is not having a work-life balance, which I don't understand. I can understand how you can take your work personal. And I take the job that I do here very personal, but I also understand this. When I'm here, I'm working, I'm giving my very best. When I'm not here, I ain't working. If I see a story on the news that might be worthy, it doesn't take a lot of effort or a lot of stress to email myself something, just so I'm coming into work with some foundational topics if nothing else is going on in the world. And when I say nothing else is going on in the world, Trump was quiet. But that is also something that I try and coach young professionals on. In fact, I had a meeting yesterday with a young professional here at the 3rd Street Market Hall. having a work-life balance is exceptionally important because far too many young professionals think that if you come in early, you stay late, you take on extra jobs and you take on extra tasks, what you're going to end up doing is making up for your lazy coworkers. But some people think if I work really, really hard, my manager is going to see it and my boss is going to see it and they're going to usher me to the top. Maybe, but not likely. More likely is they're going to see you as someone who does not know how to balance life and work, and you might be a detriment if they give you more responsibility because they know you are going to burn yourself out. Yesterday, I talked about another shrinking profession where we don't have enough qualified people, and it's in the field of management. Because wherever you have people, you have to have managers. But in the 21st century, we are analyzing the whole role of a manager. And here's a key. And I saw a content creator on social media. It was brilliant, some of the things he was saying about management. If you have a person that is managing people, send them on vacation for 2 weeks. If your team does better, if they are more cohesive, if they are more productive when your manager is gone on vacation for 2 weeks, never bring that manager back. Now, consequently, if you have a manager and you send them on a vacation for 2 weeks and the whole team falls apart, well, then tell that manager that they need to come back early. And this holds true in most professions that a lot of you are in or pursuing or will ultimately retire from. I have an opinion about a good manager, and it's just my opinion. Yours may vary. Because I think I've worked enough over the years, right? From part-time jobs to summer jobs to vocations and careers. I've seen quite a few different structures, whether they be corporate or governmental, whatever the case may be. Here's a hallmark of a good manager, and it holds true regardless of profession. You're a cop, you're a firefighter, you're a teacher. Whatever it is, this one thing is almost universally true about a good manager. When there is a good manager, the employees show up better. They want to be there. They look forward to their work. It is a joy. They are bringing their A game. They absolutely love it. They're showing up with their absolute best. Then managers can take credit. But then you have this other situation, as we were talking about these professions where we are lacking people to fill them. Management is it's a growing field where the need for managers is increasing, but the quality, just like customer service we may see in fast food restaurants, is declining. The quality of management in this country is declining too, and that's a phenomenon that is reaching critical and crisis levels as well. A lot of times when you have, I've seen this a lot in government service, where the elected official has an office, and they have like a chief of staff, or they have someone managing all of the different people. Like a member of Congress will have like a legislative assistant, and they'll have a liaison, and they'll have, a person that does constituent services, and then they'll have somebody that handles this particular type of federal legislation, case policy, whatever the case may be, right? So this elected official, or maybe in some cases the owner of the company, of the small business, will hire a person that they like to manage people. They don't hire the person based on their qualifications and their credentials as a manager, because managing human beings is a skill set. That is a trade. It really is. You need a special kind of education. You got to have a certain kind of personality. Everybody can't be a manager. But what far too many companies do is the owner of the business who makes all the decisions, they hire someone that they like to manage people. And so when the people that are being managed by this manager that was only hired because they were liked by the owner of the company, when the people fail, you never blame the manager because the manager has the relationship with the company owner. You blame the people. And they wonder why is everybody quitting? Because when your manager is biased toward the owner of the company that hired them, because remember, the manager and the owner, they have this relationship, you as an employee do not stand a chance. You can't complain. You can't bring up issues. You will not be heard, and it is a death knell for productivity in this country. And here's what's crazy. It's really smart people that sometimes fall into that management trap. I'm going to hire you because I like you, and I want you to manage my employees. Even though this person has no management experience, I would never, first of all, I don't think I'd hire any of my damn friends. If I did, I would let them know our friendship means nothing because I will fire you as quickly as I gave you this job. Now, I still love you. We still can go to happy hour. But that's a recipe for disaster. It's also like some of y'all date people you work with. What? That's not good. Why would you? How is that? That should be illegal. It should be illegal. Don't elect me president. I don't think I could get elected president because I like adult women. So that disqualifies me. But dating a coworker should be illegal. Let me tell you why. Especially a coworker that if it's a huge company and it's like thousands of people and you work on the 8th floor and they work on the 32nd floor, that maybe then, but even then you got to worry about them sneaking away into the company bathroom and humping. Because what's the point of dating somebody that you work with? Let me go ahead and say this. I'll be willing to bet that in a company that any of you work for right now, if there are people that are dating, they've had sex at that job. No, they have. When everybody's gone home, I'll bet you they've humped on the conference room table. Do a one of those UV lights. Do a black light test on a conference room table. You'll see all sorts of stuff. I guarantee you will. But no, it should be illegal, state law, federal law, that you should not be able to date or have romantic involvements with someone that you work with because it can impact the entire team, and that's not fair to other people. Because imagine if that couple is fighting. And imagine if one of them is a project manager or a manager or leading the team. Imagine that. Even if people are lateral, we know that you can't have a professional position above somebody and date somebody who's a subordinate because that's sexual harassment. Can't do that. But even if people are lateral, I would never date Denise Thomas. She would love it. I mean, no, she makes that clear. Denise loves some Sherwin. But do you blame her? You know what I mean? She do. You know, Denise. Sherwin, we would be the power couple of the century. No, Denise. Sherwin, why not? Give me a chance. No, Denise, I don't want to. Remember when we got a caller earlier when that one guy said he was like sexually assaulted by black women? They just turned out that they just smacked him on his butt. Like Denise will smack a butt. I could see. Come here, bring some of that meat to me. I think she's going to be in studio with me this month. I think she's going to be in town. It's always fun when we have Denise here, but I can't. Because what if our relationship didn't work out? It'd be embarrassing because I'd have to tell you all about it. And a lot of people you all have rooted for me and Denise, and thank you. That's very nice of you, but you guys know that wouldn't work. Ain't no way. How would that even? She lives in Texas. And I'm typically opposed to long-distance relationships. Some of y'all have gone to the West Coast to meet somebody. Like you talk to somebody on the internet and you like hop on a flight and go out to California. So I've heard people doing this. Like, oh, there's nobody around here. So, I want to take a vacation. I was talking to this person in California and I hopped a flight and I went and I met him and we hung out. Hell no. I wouldn't even... Y'all going to the West Coast? I wouldn't go to West Dallas to meet somebody. I'm not dating anybody far away. You got to live close. Zach, would you do that? Would you date?
You're going to be mad at me, Sherwin.
What'd you do? You got a girlfriend from far away? I know you ain't get one of them big-legged gals from up north, did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is she not big-legged, though?
She thick?
Nah.
She skinny?
Petite.
Oh, you got itty-bitty?
Yeah.
Okay. Where does she live at? Like way up north?
Point.
Oof. Okay. Does she come down here or do you always go up there?
We like meet halfway. It's winters.
What's halfway? Like Oshkosh?
To what?
What's halfway between...
Yeah, about... Yeah.
Oh, that's not that bad. Okay. Well, good for you. If you're happy, I'm happy. If you like it, I love it. I don't want to... The relationship for me is already enough work. I also don't want to commute. Because what if you get into a fight and you're arguing and you still have to meet halfway? So here I am driving an hour to meet my girlfriend just to fight with her? Nah, I ain't doing all that. Okay, let's take a break, shall we? Sorry, Denise, if you're listening to the show, but I can't do it. I can't do it. No, should I try? No, I can't. I can't. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Did you forget the first day of school is this week and little Nancy still needs her name embroidered on her backpack? Or the company shirts are due now, not next week? Maybe the boss just declared Steve's retirement party is today and the shirts are mandatory? Whatever the rush, Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more in Mequon has got you covered. With fast turnarounds, no minimums, eco-friendly printing, and high-quality custom apparel, Big Frog brings your custom ideas to life fast. Stop by Big Frog in Mequon or visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more, where your ideas leap to life.
Truth Nation, it's time once again to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community at the second annual Truth Community Awards, happening Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. This award show will honor the unsung heroes who show up, give back, and make a positive impact in our community every single day. We're rolling out the red carpet and showing love to those who truly deserve it. Buy your tickets now by visiting 1017thetruthAwards.com. Tickets are just $20, which includes free food and exclusive Truth giveaways. Join the 1017 The Truth team for an unforgettable night of entertainment, inspiration, and community pride at the second annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 in Milwaukee. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousin Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation, because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready to act.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I want to play you guys something. When I think of songs that represent a culture, and there are many songs, and it's hard to condense a nuanced and complicated racial or ethnic culture down to a particular song. But there is one song that when it comes on, it represents a kind of youthful and exuberant whiteness that transcends different age groups of people. When this particular song comes on, it doesn't matter where you are. The white people will respond in a way that is so unique to them that black people could never compete. And I'm sure you're probably thinking of what the song is, because there's many songs that fit the description. Because I have heard this song going to school in predominantly white institutions, college in particular, and I party with the white college kids, and woo, do they know how to party. So I learned how to do a keg stand, where I learned how to do a beer bong, neither of which I recommend. But there is a song that when it comes on, they explode with energy. In fact, this song is a favorite of a famed Wisconsin sports team, and when this song blares over the loudspeakers, the entire stadium shakes. I recently come to find out the elements of this song that is, in my opinion, I'm a middle-aged African-American man, but I'm familiar with white culture because America. The elements of this song have been entirely stolen from black artists. Every single musical and harmonic, melodic element of what I think is the whitest song in the history of music, every single piece of it was stolen from a different black artist. It's like 3 or 4 different black artists that they stole and or sampled from and looped from to create the whitest song by one of the whitest hip-hop groups. I don't even know if you would call them a hip-hop group. They stole the genre. Do you guys know what song it is? It is culturally... If I played this song right now, white people will pull over in their vehicles and start following the instructions in this particular song. I just want to showcase the irony, and this is the kind of stuff that black folks are talking about. We are stolen from and never given any credit. And here's what's crazy. All of you have heard this song before, multiple times. Some of you are going to hear this song today. Some of you are going to hear it this weekend. You're going to hear it in the fall. You're going to hear it in the summer and the spring. It is almost timeless in its whiteness. And every single musical element of the song I'm about to play you, and a little bit of narration, which is going to illustrate to you how they stole this song from black artists, I'm going to play. I almost think we should put it on the YouTube. Zach,
like the music video?
Here, we're going to do something, Zach, because I want people to see this. I'm going to send you a link, and then you're going to take the link, because you're a very smart guy. And you are going to, I'm going to play the audio, but then I want people to also see the video.
So play the video at a different time of the song playing?
We're basically going to play it twice. Do you know what song it is, Zach?
I think it's a song by Journey.
No, but that's a good guess.
Okay.
It's way more recent.
Wonderwall by Oasis?
Oh, I love that song, though. Today is going to be the day that they're going to give it back to you. Okay. Here's the song. Everybody, oh, no, that's not it. Hang on, everybody relax. Get your life together.
We hear this distinctive horns intro. House of Pain sampled this from the 1963 track Harlem Shuffle by Bob and Earl.
Black artists.
After the iconic horn intro, the main groove of Jump Around begins, and this main groove is sampled from a different song, Popeye the Hitchhiker by Chubby Checker.
Chubby Checker.
House of Pain have slowed down the Chubby Checker track and used a short loop of it as the foundation of their song. And the third and final sample in Jump Around is that distinctive screech sound effect that happens throughout the track. This screech is sampled from a 1960s Motown track, Shoot Your Shot. On Jump Around, it's actually quite hard to clock what that screech sound is. But listening to the original sample, we can hear that it's actually a saxophone. In fact, House of Pain didn't sample the saxophone direct from the original source, but instead sampled it via the 1989 track Ain't Saying Nothing by Divine Styler, which had already sampled the
black
saxophone
artist
from Shoot Your Shot.
Black hip hop
artist. At the very beginning
artist.
of Jump Around, we hear this distinctive horns intro.
Every musical element of that song was stolen from a black artist. Let's talk to you, Andre. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you, Andre?
Good afternoon. Good morning. I knew that was going to be the song.
Did you?
I knew that was the song.
Well, you're one of the few. Most people
You gave out a few hints, but I knew it, and I started singing the song. I couldn't think of it. Then I'm like, move around, because I actually listen to that song, every now and again. But I knew that was going to be the song, right?
Like there. You go to a music app and go play House of Pain, Jump Around.
It's in my playlist, or sometime it'll come up. No, I don't. But I don't pull over and start getting groovy and all that other stuff you talked about.
Okay, well, just know that.
But I knew that was the song.
Well,
I knew that was the song. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, then. He said he knew it was the song. That shocked me that every single element of the House of Pain song, because it's such a Caucasian anthem. They stole from Junior Walker and the All-Stars, and they stole from Chubby Checker. All right, let's take a break, shall we? You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris talk to comedian Charlie Behrens. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
This Friday night, we have a city conference showdown as the Milwaukee Juneau Pioneers battle the Carmen Northwest Eagles. Fast breaks, big shots, and bragging rights on the line. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. The City Conference Game of the Week on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com is sponsored by Milwaukee Public Schools and presented by Gruber Law Offices.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's giving me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth proudly celebrates Black excellence in the most monumental moments in our history. All month, we're honoring the voices, the stories, and the achievements that have shaped our past, empowered our present, and continue to inspire our future. Tune in to Dr. Ken's Trivia, spotlighting powerful facts and moments you need to know, and Tori Lowe's Our Voices, Our Stories, amplifying the youth. Tune in all month long as 1017 The Truth lifts up the legacy, the brilliance, and the power of Black history, because Black history isn't just history. It's happening every single day. 1017 The Truth celebration of Black History Month is proudly sponsored by Educators Credit Union. Bob, you remember this song? I know you remember this.
Yeah, man, that's a cut. You know, Sherwin,
what?
Them songs remind me of when you said you wouldn't mind being in the 70s. You wish you was born 20 years younger. No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, no, you don't wish you was born 20
In fact, I can identify different eras and different decades that I romanticize that I wish I was around for. Like, I wish I was in Harlem during the Renaissance in 1921. I wish I was in Milwaukee in the heyday in 1963. I wish I was in San Francisco in 1966 in the Haight-Ashbury movement. I wish that I was in Minneapolis in 1984 when Prince came out with Purple Rain. I wish I was around to experience some of those moments in history that live on dynamically throughout our culture.
one reason why you are wrong about that, and you are fine at the age you are at. One reason. I went to the casino yesterday. I haven't gone in about a month and a half. I've been a good man, a good boy, whatever you want to call me. You know, I can handle it. It's too many lovely young ladies at 35 and 45. You're right around your age. When you get that 20 years on you, you're going to say, oh, man, I wish I was 20 years younger. Forget all that other stuff. But I learned something every 3 hours, every 5 days from your show. I just learned. But don't get me wrong now. You're aggravating. You're annoying. But, you know, I learn something every day, the 5 days a week. So don't stop studying. You're infiltrating an individual. And it's nice. You had me limping out there protesting one day because I learned something every day from you. That's just encouraging. But it's too many pretty women for you to be big and small. For you to wish you were 20, you got 35 and 45-year-old lovely young ladies.
What you mean big? How big?
You know,
how big we talking? You like big girls, Bob? You like them big? You like them thick?
No, Sherwin. It depends on their personality and how nice they are.
Big girl will crush you, Bob. You don't weigh but 125 pounds. You get you too big of a girl, we ain't never gonna see you again, buddy.
Sherman, I will talk to you later. You're getting too tough for
Bob,
me
what's the thickest one you ever had? What's the thickest, the biggest? How big?
Oh, Sherman.
Because you know you little skinny dudes like big women. You do. You little itty bitty man like them a big gal. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Big girls need love too, now.
Sherman, just keep looking at that picture when I was 20. Boy, I was something else. Wasn't I?
No.
I was bigger than you. Yes, I was. I was something else, man.
I think we still have it on our desktop. We have a collection of photographs that people have sent us over the years on this computer. In here, I don't know if here it is. It's right here. Right here. Your daughter sent it to us.
Man.
No, you weren't. Actually, no, you actually were pretty cool, Bob. You were pretty cool.
I was, man. I was the man, man. But
got
listen,
a cigarette hanging out your mouth.
Yeah, I was 20. I knew I started smoking when I was 20, like an idiot. But, Sherwin, you love your age, man. You are the right age at the right time. When I went to the casino, I seen all those pretty young ladies, big and small, nice personalities. Wonderful. I didn't stay there but a couple hours. I got out of it. You know what I mean? Got my money back and got out of it.
What game did you play, Bob? What's your game? You play blackjack? You like the slots?
Oh, I like the slots, Sherwin. I like the slots. They're too nice. I mean, I just relax, look at the pretty woman walking by. And then
Bob, leave them women alone. But also don't think that age really matters. At the age I am now, the women that I have to choose from is bigger than when I was younger. Because a young man is worthless to most women because women mature faster. And I think that women appreciate a man's financial stability. And unless you're born rich, young men don't have financial stability. And if a young man has money, he's wasting it on frivolous things. So I think women have an admiration for older men than they do for men that are their age and younger. Now, women in their 50s and 60s will absolutely date a 35 or a 40-year-old man. But a woman who is 30 to 50 will date a 50-year-old man. Even I dated a woman who was 7 years older than me. She didn't look it. I mean, that's rare. I usually don't go that old because that's a little too old for me. But no, I think that the age doesn't matter.
That's the only thing you'll regret when you get my seed, Sherwin.
Oh, that's not the only thing I'm going to regret. I'm going to regret this phone call, I'm sure.
You got the luxury of the 35 and 45-year-old woman, man. You don't want to be 20 years older. Man. No, you don't.
35 might be a little young. All right, Bob, bye. I don't want to talk to you about women because every time Bob comes here, he comes with a pocket full of cash and he gives money to every pretty woman he sees. The amount of money that he has tried to give Carrie and Rhea and that other female producer that I had. And then one day I told Bob, please don't take your money, because he would do it on camera. Because I don't want somebody accused. Because Bob would leave the money right here. Right here. I got a little ledge, a little table right in front of me. And Bob would just leave the money right here, and people would see it on camera. And that looks like elder abuse. This old man with one good arm, walking with a cane, leaving a stack of 20s right here. And if I take it, it looks like I'm taking advantage of him. So one day Bob called in and said, Sherwin, since you won't take this money, because he always wanted me to take Carrie out to lunch, which I just was not going to do, because screw that. No. So I wouldn't accept the money. And Bob has been here a few times. Do you know that Bob Western Union me $100? He said, well, if you won't take it from me, I'll send it to Western Union. I was like, first of all, who even uses Western Union in the 21st century?
That's just like a money transfer, a wire?
And so here's what's crazy. So, yes, but it's I don't even know how it works. Bob went to a location, gave them cash, and they put the money through Western Union. And then Bob gets a number. He gets a code. And then I'm supposed to go, or someone with the code is supposed to go to the Western Union, give the Western Union the code that I would have or someone got from Bob, and then they provide the cash. Are y'all following me? For those of you that are unfamiliar with Western Union, someone arrives at a Western Union location, they give cash or credit card, I don't know how the hell it works, and then they select, I don't even know if they even say my name, but a code is generated. Anyone who has that code can go to any Western Union location and get the money that was originally sent by that person. In this case, it was Bob. Bob gave the code on air, okay? So I think Rhea wrote it down. And so I was going to give the money back to Bob because I think we had a Beyond the Mic coming up. So I go to the Western Union with the code, and they're like, sorry, sir, there's no record of this code. Try it. I said, nah, because we made Bob repeat it over and over and over and over and over again. And so Bob is out the $100. He does not get his money back. He can't go to the Western Union and say, oh, hey, I sent some money and the code was wrong. Give me my money back. I think this was probably 3 years ago. And then I got mad because I was like, well, damn it, I want this $100 now. And they said, no, sir, we have no record of that code whatsoever. So there you go. That's bruh. The things that I deal with as a radio host in this city, and that's not even the half of it. That's what did we learn today? We learned that culturally the most Caucasian song ever recorded and produced, Jump Around by House of Pain, was stolen exclusively from black artists. I mean, every single part of it. We learned that there is a major teacher shortage here in the state of Wisconsin that does not bode well for our future students. In fact, we've got shortages in mental health professionals. They're calling that a growing gap. Managers in general, other professions, moderate to high. Skilled trades, very high. Labor shortages. Truck drivers and logistics, high. Healthcare workers, severe. The only category of labor shortage that is rated as critical is teachers and school staff. So as we are encouraging our young people to get involved in different professions, let's mention more than just the trades, because of all of these areas that are listed professionally, teachers and school staff is the only one that is listed as critical. And since we have reformed immigration policies, it's not like we can get and recruit our teachers from other countries, because this current administration is essentially saying no to non-Americans. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Listen Fridays to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris during Black History Month for Dr. Ken's Trivia. It's not just questions, it's culture. Facts they don't teach.